God, I think you see stuff like that and mentally everyone goes back to school because even if they weren't in it, they were kind of aware of it. And obviously, Nadia, we saw Maria there going through Liam's social media to try and track them down. Would you do that? Would you sort of take the initiative?
No, I wouldn't, because I think when a child does, if they do eventually tell you, it's such a huge thing. It's a huge risk they take. And one of my girls was bullied years ago, and it was so difficult for her to talk about it that if I'd bruised my way through any part of it, she may well have retracted and not really shared. And the thing that I actually have only realised now through her and other people that I've spoken to that have been bullied is that there's an enormous amount of shame for the person that's been bullied, which is so... I know that sounds weird, but there is, and they're embarrassed. There's an embarrassment often for people. So I think you just have to go so carefully. You have to have patience, and it's the hardest thing, because, of course, you want to go down there, you want to just... I mean, I wanted to pulverise everybody, do you know what I mean? I was completely irrational. But that's not going to help. That wouldn't have helped.
I know, but the thing is, kids will always say, no, don't, you make it worse, you don't. But then, is that really what they want, or do they want you to take charge? I mean, that it's kind of a hard one, isn't it?
I mean, I think that somebody needs to come through and save you. I just think we all are looking for a saviour, and it will never be the right time to speak out about it. I have to say, that really hit hard, because that's exactly what happened to me one day after so many years of being dunked in the toilet. I came home smelling of toilet after my incident. And I remember it was just that day that I particularly turned around and I said to my family at the time, and Aunt Patricia said, I am not going back to school, you know. But it was in her response to all of that that really helped me to get by, because she went in there and she stormed. And it was not a nice scene, but she did hit the guy that was doing that to me.
So she confronted your bully?
She did, yeah.
Yeah.
She did. So when I tell you that I need, because I've been saying to all my teachers and everybody, but I needed Aunt Patricia to do that so that it could stop. Yes. And it did stop in its tracks. So
But this had been going on for quite a while, wasn't it? This was every week for a couple of years.
I mean, I had to find an alternative place to use the bathroom. I used to, you know, go into the teacher's staff room while nobody's watching, because the toilets was just not a safe place for me, you know. And that is why I ended up hating school so much. I hated school.
Of course.
And not because I was not brilliant or anything. And, you know, you grow up thinking so much things. I have to say, it is shame and embarrassment. And the last thing that you want is just like, I don't want to draw attention to myself, as you know what I'm saying? But honestly, Kay, I do think that everybody deserves a saviour in that sense.
It's so interesting, isn't it? Because, like, you know, the audience reaction when you said that your aunt just went down there, she confronted the bully and she kind of sorted it out. That's kind of what people want. Whereas nowadays we live in a world whereby, like the head teacher in that scene from Coronation Street, well, there's not much we can do. Everyone dances on the head of a pen when we talk about bullying.
So restricted.
I just find the parents. That's what you go and be like, why is this happening? You have like an honest conversation, surely, with the other parents, not the teacher, and you go, mate, why is your kid doing that?
Honestly, it is so rare that a parent will meet you with that if you go and talk to them and say your child is doing that. And that parent's instinct is just like every other parent's, to defend and to say it's not true and it kind of inflame it. I get that. That's the instinct, but it's so complicated to try and keep everything...
If that was about my child and my child was bullying to that extent, I'd be like, there's no smoke without fire. I'm like, there's no way this kid's just lying about the fact that...
But if this was your child being accused...
Mate, if that was my child, I'd be like, there's no way that you just lied about that. I'll ask the teacher and be like, is there even a whiff of this happening from my kid? If there is, then you deal with it at home and you'd be like, what are you doing? Or if you're the other way around, I think you go and find the teacher and be like, look, who's the parent? You go and speak to the parent and be like, look, mate, you know there's something going on. Don't be that guy who puts your head in the sand. You know something's going on. and deal with it that way. But I've never been... What am I talking about? I've never been a dad. I'm sorry, I've
No, but
you don't have to be a parent to have ideas about how you would... You know, we used to hate this, didn't we, when we were first on Loose Spin? People say, well, you haven't had a child yet, so you wouldn't know.
I know,
We'd be like... Because these are all... And we bring our own experiences, don't we, from school, when we're thinking about how we would manage it. Like, I'm sure you had situations at school that you had to deal with. Did you go to an all-boys school?
Brace-face. It was brace-face, yeah. Braces. And but then again, like nothing like Johannes, you know, I can't even hold a candle to that. So like it was always like sports and stuff, and I just double foot tackle him, put my studs up, but like and that sort of like would stop it a little bit. But yeah, I couldn't speak for the things that Johannes and other people have gone through.
But listening to you, I have to say, and you, Johannes, I do wonder if maybe we do need to be more direct about these things.
Well, we would like to, but we're very restricted in this country.
Well, you can't
do anything.
No, but you're not going to hit somebody. You know, obviously, you're going to get, you know...
That's what I mean.
Charged if you're going to do that. But actually, maybe sort of doing a direct confrontation and saying, right, OK, don't hide behind it. This is happening. I know it's happening. Let's talk about it. You know, because that's what you, as a child, wanted. You wanted an adult to take responsibility and come in and sort it, and thank God your aunt did. You didn't want a teacher going, it's difficult.
But when you wanted it, did you always want that, or were you trying to manage it? And if your aunt had come in earlier, would that have been
I honestly do believe that if somebody had intervened a lot earlier, it would have been easy. And unfortunately, you know, some of the people that were ridiculing me were adults.
Yeah.
You know.
Oh, yeah.
So as a child, you start questioning everything about where you are. You like, you know.
Yeah, and also, actually, when you think about it, for the kid who's doing the bullying, and I'm not making excuses in this way, I think sometimes kids don't even know that they're bullying.
Absolutely.
And they get into it, and then they start to get a bit of attention, and they build a reputation. It's difficult for them to back down in some ways. Whereas if somebody with a bit of authority steamed in and said, no, you're not doing that, that is not on, and in no uncertain terms, it might actually interrupt it for them as well as for the person that they're bullying. I don't know.
And I have to ask, did it all stop after that?
It did.
I have this wonderful image of your aunt just striding down. What did she look like?
Striding, she was running.
She was running.
No, that is the thing. It stopped, you know, because I guess he felt embarrassed about the fact that he was outed in front of, because she did it in front of the whole school.
Wow.
You know what I'm saying? And I think that's what that was her process to say, OK, I'm going to embarrass you so that you know how it feels to do that to somebody else.
Oh,
you understand what I'm saying? And yeah.
I've actually got goosebumps with that. Because I think there will be people watching, bullied or parents doing it, and they will feel that feeling.
Yeah.
We sometimes feel so powerless to help, don't we?
Have you ever met that person again, the person who bullied you?
Oh, I did. I met him in recent years, yeah. Oh, I felt sorry for him, I did. I did. And, you know, he apologized, obviously, and we had an in-depth conversation about it. I have to say, it kind of like makes me proud, the fact that he is speaking out like that and is speaking about it, because he's got kids of his own now. Do you know? And I said, but, you know, but it was lovely to see how far he's come as well. And I think it's everything that has happened in my life as well. You know, he looks at me and he's like, oh, my gosh, I can't believe I was in the same class with you. And I'm like, you are. So that
says a lot for him, doesn't it?
Definitely.
Do you think he'll go and see your movie, Johannes?
Oh, yeah.
Because your life is good as a movie, isn't it?
Absolutely. And more reason why I am so vexed that it's turning into a movie, because I think it's those lessons that, you know, people can walk away with, you know, and I really want to delve into that, because I write about all these things in my book, and I just feel like the little Jojos sitting in a township somewhere, seeing that will be reflected to them, and they'll all be better individuals, you know.
Could we love him anymore? I know.
I can't wait to see who's being cast as Auntie Patricia. That is going to be really good.
In her flip-flops,
yeah,
right?
Absolutely.
In her flip-flops.
Yeah. If you've been affected by any of the issues that we've been discussing, helplines are on the ITV website.